shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark.
Grandma shark, do 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 do. Grandma shark, do 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 do. Grandma shark, do 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 do. Grandma shark.
Hello, fifth grade. It's Miss Ellmann. I am back with you this week for your Wacky Word Work Wednesday. I really enjoyed seeing the work that you guys did last week, and I hope everyone's staying well. I know that these are some crazy times, but I'm really enjoying the people that I'm able to catch up with. I know some of you are doing Google Hangouts with people or FaceTimes, and I really hope we can continue to do those kinds of things. So today for our word work, we're doing another suffix. Remember, suffixes go at the end of base words, and they often change the meaning of those words, and they definitely change the spelling of them. So for today's suffixes, the first thing that's important to remember are the different kinds of words that we've studied. So if you remember, there are 4 basic kinds of words. 3 of them are going to come in really important today. One are our nouns. Those are words that describe a person, place, or thing. One are our verbs. Those are action words. And then the last one are adjectives. And adjectives are describing words that describe nouns. So while we're doing this, I'm really going to be focusing on the types of words we have and how the endings today are actually going to change those types of words into a new type of word. All of our words today are something called agent words. Now, an agent, you think of like a secret agent. An agent word describes a type of word that explains someone who does something or who's related to something. So a secret agent we know is related to kind of secret type tasks and spying and that kind of thing. These you can think of as your secret agent words. These are all agent words that describe a person who does something or who's related to something. So let's go ahead and get started. So if I'm just gonna zoom in on these words behind me, this is our first sort. Today's sort, I'm gonna actually put up the sort for you already sorted, and we're gonna go through the words and identify some patterns. So our first sort is ER. We have the word traveler, believer, prisoner, and defender. So if you look at all of these words, prisoner is the only one that's a little bit different. I want you to focus on what the base word is. So in travel, our base word is, in traveler, our base word is travel. In believer, our base word is believe. Now we know that to travel, we know that to believe, that those are actually verbs, right? And if you look down at the last one, defend is the base word in defender. Defend is also a verb. So traveler, believer, defender, the base word is a verb. When you add the ER, it turns into a noun, a person who travels, a person who believes. I skipped prisoner because prisoner, we know that prison is a place, so it's actually a noun on its own. Adding ER doesn't change that it's still a noun, but a prisoner is a person that is in prison as opposed to the place that is prison. So that's the one where we don't see it changing from a verb to a noun, but otherwise these are all changing from verbs into noun. Let me go ahead and show you the next sort. So our next sort is the ending OR. We have the words decorator, creator, inventor, and survivor. So let's take a second. I'm going to zoom in on these words again. Sorry, I'm figuring out my zoom in and my zoom out. If you look at the OR words, you're probably going to notice very similar to the ER. Decorate is the base word here. Create is the base word here. Invent is our base word. Survive is our base word. all of these new agent words have taken action words, verbs, and turned them into nouns. To decorate is to go ahead and put nice things in and make a place look beautiful. A decorator is someone who does that for their job. They go in, they say, oh, you should get this couch. Maybe they work with a fancy hotel and they say, oh, your people would like these kinds of curtains. That's a decorator. A creator is someone who creates things. An inventor invents things. A survivor has survived. So these agent words all take a verb into a noun. Let's go ahead and look at the next set of words. I'll take my hand off. The ending on this set of words is ist, ist. We have biologist. Look at that word carefully. Biologist. Finalist. Specialist. And our last one, artist. I'm going to show you this group of words again, and I want you to think really carefully about what the base word is in our ist words. The base word in biologist, this is tough, is the word biology. That's like a class you'll probably have in high school. Biology is a type of science that studies living things. The base word in finalist, final. The base word in specialist, special. The base word in artist, art. Biology, art, a final. Those are all nouns. So these words generally actually are already nouns, but what we've done by adding ist is we've turned them into words that describe someone who works with these things. Again, just like ER, just like OR. Artist makes art. A specialist has something that they focus on, something that they do just one or two things on. We often talk about doctors as being specialists because they have something that they just do mostly. They do one thing. They only do bones, or they only do skin or heart. Finalist, someone who has made it to the finals of a round or a game. And a biologist is someone who studies biology. There's a lot of famous biologists, so they're studying the science of biology. ist, just like OR and ER, is another agent word. It's creating a person who does each of the things listed here, and it's sometimes changing the type of word it is, as we saw in ER and OR. All right, so our last sort, there's actually 4 today. So our last column that I'm going to add up here is another one that you're going to probably think looks a little funny, and then as we get going, you're going to realize you know a bunch of these. So the last one is IAN. Ian, or in. So the last one, let's see. A first one I'm going to put up there is this. Asian. Think about what you know that word means. Asian. Historian. Librarian. Christian. So these words are a little bit different. Even though we still consider them agent words, it's not the same as these other ones. These 3 columns are about people's jobs. Now, a librarian, that is someone's job, but it doesn't mean, like if you compare librarian to inventor, an inventor invents things. A librarian does not library things. A librarian works in a library. So these IAN words all change the base word to something that has to do with it. So let's look at this. Asian. An Asian person is from Asia. Historian. A historian is somebody who studies history. Librarian, we just said, works in a library. A Christian believes in Christ. So these are a little bit different. It's not as simple as saying an artist makes art, right? Or a survivor survives. It's a little bit more complicated where these words are just about the base word. Christ, library, history, Asia, sorry. A lot of times we add endings to describe where people are from. So Asian is here, but sometimes we also add endings like ER to describe someone from a place. Like you could say that person is a New Yorker. They're from New York. Or we'd say I'd add IAN and say that person is a Georgian. They're from Georgia. So I want you to thinking about these words again for a minute. Try to come up with some others that could fit in these endings. ER, OR, IST, or IEN. Some words that I think about are words like reporter, announcer, boxer, narrator, southerner, North Carolinian, right? To someone who's from North Carolina, a North Carolinian. I also think about a word like stylist or therapist. So these are all agent words that describe someone who does something or is related to something, as in with our IAN words. Now, the most common ones you probably could guess just when we started to talk about some other words are the ER words. This is the most commonly found in this word sort, just in general. And I want to remind you too, you're going to think of some words maybe when you're going through this like doctor. Now, when you think about the word doctor, you have to remember the basic rule about suffixes and prefixes, that they have to have a base word. Look at doctor. Doctor does not have a base word. Doctor just has the OR spelling at the end. It's not a suffix. It's just a spelling pattern. Think about the word water. Water has the ER spelling pattern, but it's not a suffix because it doesn't have a base word. Wat is not a base word. So remember, when you're looking for these spelling patterns or you're looking for these suffixes, you have to be able to identify that base word. And then remember, a lot of these are going to change what that base word does and change it into meaning something or meaning someone that does that thing or someone that is related to that thing somehow, like with our IAN words. The last thing that I wanted to comment on today is that if you go to your word work on your Google Classroom, you're going to have the sort with these words and some other ones. And then you'll actually notice that your sentences are different. What you're going to have on your sentences is actually a full sentence with just one of these words missing. In parentheses, after that sentence, you would go ahead and see the word that you're going to need to change to put back into the sentence. So for example, you might see a sentence like, David is a blank, invent, he constantly makes new things. So you need to change the word invent into an agent word. We know that that's one of our words already, inventor. So what you would do for that is you would go ahead and plug in the word inventor into your sentence. And that would be how you go through your sentences for this week. If you have any questions, go ahead and text your teacher, call your teacher. You can comment on your Google Classroom as well. Hope you enjoyed this week's word work lesson, and I look forward to seeing you next week.